This is video number 2 for bass players, and in this video you're going to learn how to adjust the end pin height and the proper hold for the bass, okay? So here's what you will need. You're going to need your bass out of the case. You will need a rock stop. A rock stop, you probably received one that looks like this. There are different brands of rock stops. This is a very popular brand. It's going to look something similar to this. Some of them are black with a gold or silver part in the center. Some of them actually look like little tripods. Those are kind of some interesting looking ones. But this is going to keep your end pin from slipping on the floor. Now, before we go further, if you have not actually taken the time to learn the parts of the instrument yet, you need to pause this video or exit out of this video, go back and do that, because I'm going to be using the terms as if you know them. So you'll be very lost if you can't remember what the scroll is, or the bridge, or the nut, or things like that. Okay, so make sure you have completed video 1 and learned your parts of the instrument before attempting this video. So here's what I need you to have. Your instrument out of the case. I need you to have your rock stop. I need you to have your music stand up and open to page number 3. I'm going to put my music on the side, music stand on the side, so that you can see me. I also need you to have a stool. Now, the stool, my preferred height for the stool for beginning bass players that are in the 6th grade or 7th grade is 24 inches. 24, 25, 26. That's the height of the stool from the ground up to this part right here. If you don't have one, you're going to need to get one soon, very soon, because that's how you're going to learn how to hold the bass as I teach you with a seated position. Okay, so first things first, let's take out the end pin. If you have not taken your instrument out of the case, please pause the video and get up to speed. You need your bass out of the case, you need your book open to page 3, you need your stool, and you need your rock stop. So first thing I want you to do is take your thumb and pinky and make this little shape right here. Okay, stretch them out just like this. Okay, now I want you to go down to your end pin, unscrew, just remember 1 turn only, maybe 2, pull it out to where the end pin, it's about that length. Now I've gone a little bit too far, so I'm going to push it back in. Okay? Now, tighten it back up. Now understand, this is just to get you started. You might have to change this length to make it longer or shorter. This is just to get you started, okay? Here's another check. When we put our our bass up against our body, the nut needs to be around your forehead, okay? So the next thing I want you to do is take your stool, and your stool should have 4 legs. I want you to have the stool to where one of the legs is the front. So, not like this, okay? Make a diagonal with it. And that's important in a moment here. Make a diagonal with it, and then put it back on the floor. And then I'm going to move the bass out of the way here, so you can see me. I want you, see how this leg is in the front. I want you to sit with your legs straddling that one leg. Sit down now, and now bring your left leg up on probably the lowest rung of the stool. Now this stool only has 1. If your stool does not have these little bars down here, something you can use instead is a yoga block. They cost about $10 though. And you can get 3 different heights out of that yoga block. So that's an option for you if you don't have this on your stool. Okay? So this is how you're going to be seated. Left leg is up on the rung of the stool and it's bent. Your right leg is flat on the floor. Now, we've already got our end pin adjusted to the right height. Now I want you to take your rock stop, and I want you, again, this is something that might change depending on how tall you are and all of those kinds of things, how tall you are in relation to your bass. But I want you to put through a rock stop just in front of this bar of the stool, about an arm length away. So I'm going to put an arm length away, and I'm going to place it right down, just like that. Okay? Again, just to get you started. Now, here's the tricky part when you're very first learning. The hard part is getting the end pin, make sure your end pin's tightened because if not, it's going to fall down. Getting the end pin in the actual rock stop, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm holding it up by the neck in this part between the upper bout and C-bout, and I'm looking over and I'm getting the end pin in, and now I've got my bass in the end pin and it's straight up, okay? If you need to pause the video at this point, do so. And in this case, you might need some help from mom or dad or brother or sister to pause and start the video because with the bass, it's just kind of difficult to go back and forth. So now I've got my stool lined up right. You can't see this because I'm behind the bass, but I've put my left foot up on the lowest rung of the stool. Now, with your bass, you're going to lean it back towards you, and I want you to cover up all of your left leg and half of your lap. All of your left leg and half of your lap. Now, it's going to tilt a little this way before it comes down towards your face. Now, for me, this isn't quite right. What I need to do, and the reason I know, is because I want this to be a little closer to my face, okay? See how the nut is right about my four-height head? That is fine, but I need my rock stop to go out a little bit further than that. Now, unfortunately, we have to try this again now. I'm going to move my rock stop a little bit to the left and a little bit out. Now, you might right now not be able to move your rock stop with your end pin in it. That's kind of a skill you'll develop. But here's where you should end up, okay? Your bass is angled back and this way towards you. It's not straight up and down like this. Okay, it's angled back this way and it's angled towards your body. Angled back, turn, lean towards your body. Now the fingerboard and neck should be right next to your left ear. Make sure you're doing this on the correct leg. It's leaning up against the left leg. The left leg is the one that is up on the stool. The right leg is down. You're making basically a little wall right here with your leg for your bass to lean against. Now it's going to hit your tummy right here on the side, and you should be able to let go. It's very important that you can balance this on your body because if your hand is having to hold it, it won't be free to move up and down the fingerboard to play the different notes. Okay? So let me review some of those things again for you. Have your stool. Well, let's start off. End pin height, thumb and pinky, and then stool with the leg facing towards the front, rock stop about an arm length away. Remember, for me, it needed to be a little further than that, and a little to the left. Oops, so now I'm having trouble with it. There we go. Okay, I'm sitting down on the stool. My left leg is on the lower rung of the stool. Turn, lean back, and let go. Let your left leg be a wall for your bass to lean against. Okay? You can always check yourself with the picture on page number 3 in your book. They describe things a little bit differently than I did. Those work as well. I just went into a little bit more detail than they did in the book there. The next video, we will learn a couple things. We'll learn the names of the strings, and we will learn how to use a metronome, and we will also learn how to pluck and make some sounds. So that'll be really exciting. But get this down first, and again, if you don't learn your parts of the instruments, learn them, because I'm going to start using those in these videos. Make sure you know your parts of the instrument, and you have figured out the correct end pin height, and you have figured out the correct instrument hold where you can balance it against your body and it doesn't fall over. And then you'll be ready for video 3.